Welcome back, everybody, to Sober Builds 3D. Today I'm just going to be doing a little bit of testing with transparent PETG material just to see how to get it actually transparent. Let's see what we can do. Start this one, I'm going to do a very basic drawing on shape. I'm just basically going to do a rectangle that is only 50 thousandths extruded. So this is easy. Sketch on the top plane. I'm going to do a corner or a center point rectangle. Click the center point. Drag out my rectangle. Let's go 1 inch by 0.5 inches. Accept that sketch, or you can extrude it right now too. Just extrude it 0.05, and that is going to be my test piece. Today we're going to be using the Overture 5M again, so make sure that is selected at the top under your printer. I'm going to be using the 0.4mm nozzle, and this is actually a test today. This isn't something that I know is going to work. I want to be able to look down and see through that part into, let's say, a jewelry box for my daughter or for my wife. Just put a glass-like cover on top of a case of some sort. That's the whole goal today, is to see what it takes to get us transparent enough to look through and see what lies beneath it. So we have the 0.4mm nozzle selected. I'm using PETG again, but I'm going to change that to just a basic white. They don't offer clear. You could select clear and call it clear yourself if you want to, but I'm going to just put white. And I'm not sure on the temperatures on this. I have 255, I think, written down on that filament, but that was just the first time I ever ran it where it looked like it was running the best, extruding the best. And that could need adjustment still because I have only played with it one time until now. So, FlashForge Overture 5M, 0.4 nozzle, PETG basic. And this is FlashForge's preset for this, so I haven't altered this one at all. I haven't put it in, I haven't changed the presets and saved them under transparent or anything like that yet. So we're going to run this test with the preset and see what it does, and maybe make some adjustments on the fly on the screen of the actual printer itself. But for now, I'm just going to add the transparent test. And there you have one. Now I'm going to do, I think I'm going to clone this, and let's do 4 clones so that there's a total of 5 pieces. I'm going to lay these out in a grid pattern, just nice to look at, I guess, for me. And then I'm going to clone this part again, and I'm going to do 3 of them standing up. So then this one here I want standing up, so I'm going to go to rotate, and then you could just go on Z, let's go on X, 90. Now for the 3 that are standing up, they're very thin. They're only 50 thousandths thick, so there's a good possibility that they're going to fall over, or try to fall over. So I'm going to go under Objects and select that one, and that one, holding Control and using the mouse. And I'm going to go down to Other, and I'm going to use a brim. I'm going to turn the brim to object gap to 0. I want that to be absolutely touching that part to make sure that that part doesn't fall over. So brim to 0, auto. If we slice it, we can see what that looks like. And I definitely don't need that big of a brim. So we're going to go over here, and I'm going to do an outer brim only. I'm only going to go, let's go 3 millimeters. And there you can see now that there's a brim that is much smaller on those parts. It's going to use less filament, and it should still help that part stand up. We'll go back to prepare, then you have all your objects lined back up again. Now, you need to individually change the settings for each one of these parts if you want to do a test like this. So for this one, Under objects, I now have only one of them selected. You can go under all these settings at the bottom of the slicer and do all your changes to the individual part. If you do this in global, you're changing the settings for every part that lies on that build plate. And I don't want to do that right now. This is a test per part, so I'm going to go through and change the settings per part. And for this test also, I want to know what my test objects were and how I created them. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select this individual object. And I'm going to click on emboss at the top. I'm going to change this because I don't need it that big. I'm going to go 0.05. And then we're just going to, in that text, for this one, this is all the stock settings, so I'm just going to write stock. Under advanced, I'm going to click use surface, and that's going to hold on right to that top of that part. Okay, so I have everything set up, and the only thing I really did for these tests is adjust the layer heights this time around. So this one's 0.12, 0.16, 0.18, 0.2, and then we have the stock, which I believe is a 0.14. And we're doing the same here for the standing up parts. We have the stock settings on that one, 0.2 layers on that one, and 0.18 layers on that one. And I'm not expecting the lettering to turn out real good because these are sticking out quite a bit off the sides of these very thin parts. Actually, the lettering is just about the same thickness as the parts themselves. So, only thing left to do now is slice, send it to the printer, and then wait till it's done and see what we get. Thing to remember about PETG is sometimes it will stick very, very well, and this is what I use, regular purple Elmer's glue stick, and it's not so much an adhesive in this case as it is a release agent based on all the research I've done on it. I believed at the beginning that you needed to glue everything down so it would stick to the bed, and that's actually not what it's used for. Based on what I've read, it's more used so that everything will release off that plate easier. With PETG, I found that to be very true, so I do try to put on an even layer of Elmer's glue, just a regular purple stuff that you can buy at any store for kids going back to school. So I'm going to do that, and then hopefully all these parts will just pull right off this plate and not have any problems. The only thing that I know right off the bat is that this is a textured PEI plate, so there is going to be texture at the back. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see through that texture at all or not. The standing up ones I have the most faith in right now to see if they're transparent, but we'll find out. As you can see, fresh off the build plate, and I'm already looking at that standing tower. Way harder than I am the laying down parts. As you can see, the laying down parts also didn't print the words on there that I needed to reference for what the test actually was, so I'm going to write it in Sharpie. But comparatively, right now it's obviously against a dark background. But there's haze there, and then you turn it this way, and you can pretty well see through the standing layers. I don't know how to show that real great, but you can see the layer lines pretty easily still. And again, this is textured because it was on a textured PEI plate, and it also kind of turned a yellowish on the back, and I'm assuming that's from the glue. So glue is probably going to be a no-no on this, and laying down might not work. You could see the layer lines through that part. 0.12 millimeter layer, 0.16, 0.2 stock preset for everything, layer lines, everything, stock. Now we're going to get into the standing parts. I'm going to start with stock here. And this is nothing changed at all. You can see I was probably running it a little quick, but let's see here. You can kind of see through it. I got a broken layer right in the center, you can see, and that's actually where it was trying to add my lettering, and it just couldn't hold it. So that's definitely going to be a no-no, but we're starting to get some transparency there. 0.18. And again, we're starting to get transparent, but I definitely have to make some adjustments. So that's it for today's test. That's all I wanted to try out, was what was going to give me the closest to transparent. And I am going to say right off the bat that laying down is probably not the correct orientation for this. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm saying I don't know how yet. Will I figure it out? If there's a way, I'm going to try to. But right off the bat, with the stock settings and standing up, we have a lot more transparency. Obviously, I have some layer lines that are still visible. I can tighten that up. That's what all these adjustments are being made for. But I think this is where I'm going to have to go, is standing up orientation. The standing part is the most transparent of all of these. And to me, it makes sense, knowing that I have a textured bed. Everything always has a texture on the bottom of it. I don't know if you can see that very well. Just the same as the brim around the bottom of the standing up part. It's got a texture on it. And that is because of this texture on the plate itself. So if I wanted to get perfectly transparent laying down, I would probably need to get a smooth plate. And that might be something I do in the future. But right now, I'm playing with what I've got to try to get the best outcome with the setup I have. Standing up, probably going to be the one. We're going to keep on testing and figure out what the best settings are for this one. And then I'll probably end up making another video when I finally figure it out. Thank you all for watching today's video. Again, just working on making a transparent filament actually transparent. Everything I've been reading says you want as little amount of air as possible inside these parts. Ran a few test parts, didn't drink. Goals complete for the day. I hope you all are doing great out there. If you're struggling with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. You are not alone. Find something to keep your mind busy and off of all the other garbage that it might have inside of it. Thank you all, and we'll talk to you on the next video.